Hello, my name is Jessica Rotondo and I'm one of the creators of this website. In this video, you'll be hearing from one of my friends who is a student down in Florida at Eckerd College. You will hear about how Hurricane Milton impacted her experience. Now, if you don't already know from reading the website, Hurricane Milton was a Category 5 hurricane that struck Florida in October of 2024. If you'd like to learn more, please read our website. Here's Claire.
Hello, my name is Clare Wurlitzer and I am a current junior at Eckerd College located in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is about 30 minutes away from the Tampa Bay area. I am also a current resident of Massachusetts when I am not at school in St. Pete, and I was asked by the lovely Jess Rotondo if I could do a short video talking about my Hurricane Milton experience, and I thought, why, of course, I'd love to. Hurricane Milton affected me as well as other people in the St. Pete, Tampa Bay area, and all of my close friends and family as well, and we'll get into that, but I have the questions that I was asked. So I introduced my name. I'm a psychology major with 3 minors: animal studies, human development, and public health. And yeah, I'm a junior at Eckerd. I love it. It's right on the water, so the things that I will talk about will definitely make sense why the damage that Eckerd received was so heavily impacted because of Hurricane Milton. So let's just get right into it. So Hurricane Helene happened before Hurricane Milton, and that was the big catalyst. So I was moved right down to school in August. School started September 1st, and we were all having an amazing time until about the 3rd week of school in September. I remember vividly, I was at work and I got a call from my mom who was sick with COVID in bed. And she was like, hey, I think there's gonna be a hurricane. And I was like, I don't believe you, even though my first year at Eckerd, I had evacuated back home for Hurricane Ian. So I was kind of in a delusion that everything was gonna be fine and it wasn't gonna be as bad as it was. I was wrong. So Hurricane Helene hits and we evacuate school around September 22nd. It's a Thursday. Me, my roommate, traveled to Orlando to get inside of the state and away from the coast. Eckerd was demolished. The dorms almost did not make it. We received a lot of electrical damage. Like I said, our campus is right on the water, so all of the seawater that was coming over the wall destroyed all of the power lines that were underground, because that was smart of the school. Windows were broken, trees were down, a lot of stuff. So we thought we'd be back in about a week, and we were not. So my hurrication, as all of us have called it, turned from 1 week thought to a whole entire month. Because right after Hurricane Helene came Hurricane Milton, her twin sister, or twin brother, I should say. So I was off campus for a month. I traveled from St. Petersburg to Orlando, and then Orlando back because I thought I was gonna go back to school after Helene. That was not the case. And I traveled to San Antonio, Texas with my roommate, because that's where she's originally from, instead of coming home to Massachusetts, because I thought a 16-hour drive to Texas was better than a 20-hour drive back home where I could have been with my family. And again, Milton did the exact same thing to Eckerd. All the trees that were down broke them. A giant oak tree that we had in front of our library completely uprooted it. It had to be destroyed and cut down and put into a landfill. Dead fish were scattered around campus and the whole entire campus smelt like rotting fish. The ospreys loved it, but we didn't. The windows were broken, more flooding in the dorms. We were just all forced to work online, Zoom classes, Google Meets. The impacts that I felt, obviously, I was not in school for a month. Not physically in school. I was online, felt like COVID all over again. I was looking into a screen, talking to my professors, talking to my friends, who I had just seen for 2 weeks, and then we were gone. It was hard. It was really rough for me mental health wise. And when we came back, we were originally supposed to come back the last week of October, and I took a 2-week mental health break so I could better myself, get myself healthy, more mentally stable, and I came back the day of my birthday. The impacts that Helene and Milton have had on campus, it's changed a lot. The dorms have changed. The lounges that we had, they are still down, they're broken. The cafeteria that they're trying to rebuild, all the water filled the concrete hole. The fish got eaten up by the ospreys, but my college campus is different because we all just had that hurricane, but for all of us, it was different. We felt like we were in COVID again, like I said, and we weren't able to have that personal, physical, in-person relationship with each other like we hoped. I definitely see this happening again. Like I said, I had to do this freshman year. It wasn't as long. I was home for a week, or actually I was home for 2 weeks. I left work, and came back after crying and saying goodbye to all of my coworkers, and came back a week later to work when everyone was at school. I definitely see this happening again because of climate change and among other things, that hurricanes are just brewing out there because of the water getting hotter and the air. It takes so much heat and electricity and just all of the stuff for hurricanes to come together, and when they're out in the middle of the ocean just coming and warping together and they just move on land, it's hard because Floridians, they don't want to leave. And when I was trying to evacuate from Milton, driving to Texas, I was stuck in traffic for over 2 hours in Tallahassee. And my roommate was 4 hours behind me, also stuck in traffic in Orlando when she got her mom. So the Floridians waited until the last moment when the governor said, if you don't get out of your house, you will die. And it's very prevalent in Florida that the red states, not to make this political, they don't want to believe the scientific background or backing science. They don't want to believe it. So when meteorologists are on the news saying this is going to be really bad, they just sit in their house, they get toilet paper from Walmart, and they just go on their days. They don't listen. So I think hopefully this has really impacted campus and among other things for people, and they've really realized what has happened. I think that's all I have to say, but I definitely think that we need to get better and take care of our earth and our communities, because originally people were saying that the hurricanes were caused by someone touching native soil and that the gods were against us. No, honey, I'm sorry, that's not the truth. But we need to change our views and start bettering the earth so we don't have destructive category 3, 4, or 5 hurricanes destroying our land and our people. So, yeah, Hurricane Milton was terrible, and it's probably going to happen again. So good luck to me. Thank you guys, and have a great day. Bye.
All right, well, thanks, Claire. Your story was very impactful, very telling of the events that happened. I'm sure you can speak for a lot of other college students. I went through the same thing in Florida, and I'm sure, unfortunately, you guys will go through similar things in the future. So good luck to you all out there.